everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Matt, this is Melanie.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet to join our little family. For today's video, we are going to be doing a how we met video. So I asked you guys to ask us some questions on Instagram and YouTube, and we got a good amount of questions. A lot of them were repetitive, so we're gonna try our best to incorporate it in this video while we're telling you our story, kind of like a timeline from when we met and to where we are now. And then afterwards, the questions that were a little bit more about our relationship and don't really fit into the story as much, more about questions about us, we'll answer afterwards. So yeah, get comfortable, get cozy, and let's get started. So,
how you starting this?
Okay, so in order to start this, we have to go back to 2016. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it really had to do with where we were at emotionally and mentally, and it really played a big part on like what made me fall for Matt or what like pulled at our hearts and whatnot. So basically, I was in a 3-year like really off and on relationship since I was 16 until I was 19. And basically just, it was crazy. Good and bad, you know, it's obviously was my first relationship, so I learned a lot from it and so appreciative of it. But in June, he actually passed away in a car accident, and my whole life turned upside down, and it got really dark and scary. And my aunt was going on a trip to Europe, and she was gonna go away for 3 weeks to a month. So I went on this trip, and this trip literally saved my life. It was one of the best 3 weeks of my life, and it's sad because I don't really remember a lot of it, just because my mind was so cloudy at that time. But I came out of the trip with a whole new perspective on life, and it brought me out to a completely different new person. Just when you're seeing all the beauties of the world and how much more there is than sticking your life in this little box of what you do every day and who you're with every day, just makes you more appreciative of life. So with all that, I came back to Delaware, which is where we live, and then came late September, I think, early October. And that's when I met Matt. And now I didn't technically meet Matt. He messaged me. He messaged me. So we went to Del Tech, which is a community college in Delaware. And he met me, but I don't know if you want to take it from here, as far as
my side.
Yeah.
So I was also in a long 3-year relationship. It was more solid, wasn't really off and on, but she went to college up north, and that ended that.
Yeah.
So my relationship ended, and then she so I was tweeting some things, and I kept seeing her retweet and favorite every one of my tweets.
Okay,
and,
wait.
And she claims that it was just because she felt bad.
No.
We know the real reason.
So let me explain that. So we're going back to Melanie in 2016. Super a mess, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything, just because of everything I'd gone through. So when I got back from Europe, I had sworn off guys. I'm not getting into a relationship. I believe that everybody deserves to be happy. Nobody please break up. You're supposed to be with the love of your life. You never know what's gonna happen. I was really traumatized. So he's tweeting all this sad stuff. Don't act like you weren't sad. Matt was super sad.
All right, there was a week and a half period I was sad.
Yeah, he was. It was
really an unexpected
sad.
halt.
Everything he's tweeting is breaking my heart, and I'm just favoriting, not reaching out, not trying to be extra.
But then there's also regular tweets that she was also favoring and retweeting.
Okay, whatever. But
not
it was mainly the sad ones.
So it was a week and a half after the breakup, and I messaged Melanie on Twitter.
So, who made the first move or like the first, I don't know, interaction?
I mean, technically,
no.
you followed me way back in the day.
So Matt reached out to me.
So I reached out and I was like, hey, you get Adele Tech, right?
He messages me in like October, the beginning of October. And I see his name pop up and I'm like, like I didn't know what to do. Like I was just like, oh.
She's like, oh my God, he's so good looking.
No.
At the same time, he's got a relationship. I don't want a relationship. What do I do?
Yeah,
he's
so
very good looking.
Matthew. I was literally at my sister's house just like staring at my phone. And yeah, there's only like a 4-minute difference between the time he messaged me and texted me back, but I swear. I was already on my phone, so it popped up immediately. And I sat there for 4 minutes just like, do I really
She was probably like in the bathroom, came out, saw her phone, like, oh my God, he messaged me.
No. So eventually I'm like, okay, let me message him back. So from there we started messaging and texting and whatnot.
Got the Snapchat.
Yeah.
Number.
Got all the social medias, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we eventually start talking, we start hanging out. We're still kind of like, I don't know, like
keeping it like just casual.
Finally in November is when we like officially started like talking, like exclusively talking to each other. In January is when Matt asked me out. He asked me to be his girlfriend downstairs in my basement. We were sitting on the couch and he just said, what did you say? Do you want to go out or do you want to be my girlfriend?
I think I didn't say go out, I think girlfriend.
Yeah. So January 11th of 2017 is when Matt asked me officially to be his girlfriend. Like I was like a really hard person to date in the beginning.
The first like 4 or 5 months definitely was still really emotional at times.
Yeah.
Like just random times.
Yeah.
What I feel like also the first like the 2016 year from like when we started talking, I feel like I helped you a lot just emotionally. Like getting you through stuff.
Yeah, I think so that was like one of the questions, like what made you like fall in love with Matt or whatnot. I think the fact that just because of where I was coming from, like it was really hard to date me because I loved to pretend like everything was okay and everything was fine. But when you go through traumatic events, you get triggers, like certain things trigger you. And so
it took me a long time to figure out all of those triggers,
yeah.
kind of what to avoid to say, do. You know.
So like Matt had like no idea what he was getting into when it came to like talking and dating me. So like that was like one of the things that like made me fall in love with him, was that he was able to handle my emotional side and my crazy thoughts and my just like random moments where I couldn't control myself. And he got to see that because he wasn't just somebody that I like talked to every now and then. Everybody around me knew like, oh, she's fine, she's good, like she's okay, because that's the front I put on. But like
not okay.
I was not okay for a really long time, and it was Matt that really helped me cope with everything and helped me bring me back to like who I am today. Okay, so who said I love you first? It was Matt. So when he said that,
mind you, like, so we had only been dating a couple of weeks at that point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we had spent like every day with each other for the past few months. It was like we also felt super connected.
So it's not that I didn't love him or anything, because I did, and it's crazy to say that you love someone so quickly, but we had such a strong like emotional connection that it just felt, you know, he was comfortable enough to say that, and I wanted to say it back too, but just because of how sensitive I still was, I couldn't. I literally could not say it back. And he left, I closed my door, ran downstairs to the basement. Mind you, the basement's like a family room. It's not just like a basement. It's a huge family room with a bedroom and a bathroom. That's where we always hung out. Cried my eyes out. And then I kind of just like started thinking about everything. And I honestly don't even know where I would be without Matt, is what I was thinking at that time. So the next day is when I finally told him I loved him back and that I was sorry. And that it was like, and he knew immediately why. And that was another reason, you know, like keep little things like that is what kind of sparks like a, hey, he's different kind of a thing. The other person be like, well, you made me feel like stupid and like freak out that I put myself out there and then you don't say it back. He wasn't like that at all. He was understanding. So that was like one of the things that stuck out the most of me with Matt was that he was really understanding and super sensitive.
It wasn't like I said I love you and just like stared at you to say it back. It was like a couple second pause and I was like, you don't have to say it.
Yeah, so.
I'm just letting you know how I feel.
Right, and then I told him I loved him the next day, so it was all good. Anyway, and then me and Matt just continued to hang out every day.
Every day.
And like whose family we met first, I'm pretty sure you met my family first since you came to my house first. So we had a question like that too, like first impressions. Obviously like Matt's attractive, so like that was like my first thing with Matt. That was like my first thing with Matt was his blue eyes. He has really, really blue eyes. But that was like the first thing that like caught my eye were Matt's eyes. But yeah, that was like my first impression. And Matt has really big lips too. Oh, what was your first impression?
The thing that like first caught my eye was that Spanish. I think that's what like that was just like what like
oh my gosh.
Like made you stand out from the herd.
Because you hated white girls.
Yeah, no, that was like the first thing. It was just how pretty she was, and that's just Spanish.
We started hanging out with our families more. I met his family. His family was like so like welcoming and sweet. His mom was like amazing. I don't know. That's another thing that really attracts you to someone too, is like when they have like an awesome family, and like nobody's family's perfect. My family's not perfect. His family's not perfect. But it's just like the love that we have in my family and the love that they have in their family is just all works.
In June or July, one of those, we had just like kind of like started jokingly tossing around the idea of like getting married.
Yeah.
Just like throwing it around. Mind you, this is what, like 6 months in
of
dating. So
well, that was the thing though. Like Matt literally told me like in April or May, he was just like, I'm gonna marry you one day, and I was just like, okay, like you don't really think anything of it, but he was like, okay, no, like for real, like I'm gonna marry you one day, so just be prepared. And I'm like, all right. And I thought he was like just kidding, because obviously we'd only been dating 5 months, but we had already been through so much together. That it was just like, it made sense just to move fast and just keep on going.
It doesn't make sense to
a lot of
propose
people
to somebody quickly or get married quickly, but for us it did. It just felt right for both of us. It wasn't like a one-sided thing. We both just felt super comfortable. But so that leads to August, and so this would be our first vacation together, right?
Yeah.
My older sister, she lives in Maui in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was messaging my older sister, kind of like, I think I'm gonna propose. But then I was asking her where I should do it at, like what would be a cool spot to do in Hawaii, because Hawaii already is gonna be cool to propose there. And she was like, well, there's this volcano. It's like an hour away from her house. All right, so we go through like our normal, it was like first 3 days, I think we're there. We're just doing like normal activities.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told her I wanted her to get dressed up because we're gonna go to the top of the volcano. We can take pictures. And the top of the volcano is above the clouds. So like we went at sunset. So it was like the volcano, the sun setting like on top of the clouds. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I proposed and asked her to be my wife.
When Matt got down on his knee, I was like completely shocked. It was so special. It was so like amazing, and I couldn't wait to share with everybody that, you know, we were engaged. And so like the rest of the time we enjoyed Hawaii as like an engaged couple, which was like crazy to even like think about.
I mean, you figure we had just started dating in January and this is August.
Yeah, so we dated for 8 months before he proposed to me, and then we were engaged. So then afterwards we get back home, and now it's like getting closer to my birthday. So we celebrate my birthday, which is September 4th, which was another question that another person asked us. And around like October, kind of things happened and whatnot, and we needed a place to like live. I actually moved in with his brother, which is also a Christian family. Then me and Matt, like one day, were just like, what if we got married? Like literally, we were just like, what if we just got married? Now, mainly we were just like ready to move on in our relationship, get ready to move on to the next step. Now we were engaged, we know we love each other, why don't we just get married? Obviously, I didn't want to buy a house or like live with him if I was not married, just because that is our family values. Now, there's nothing wrong with, I'm not against anything. I'm just saying, as far as our values goes and my parents, I wanted it to align with theirs and obviously with God's. So come November 5th.
Yeah, November 5th. So we set up, she's always wanted to have like a very large, extravagant wedding.
Yeah.
Obviously, we couldn't do that, especially on such a quick notice.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a small, like, family-only little ceremony.
We literally planned it the weekend before we got married. I went and got my dress at like Forever 21 or something like that. But it was so quick. It was so sudden. I didn't want anybody there besides our siblings and our parents. I just wanted to be super intimate. And that was actually like my favorite wedding. And I say favorite. Yeah, because we ended up getting married again, and we'll explain that in a second. But it was just like so, like, no pressures from anything, not spending crazy amount of money, not worried about what other people are thinking. It was just about us and getting married, and it was like, I loved it. So we got married, and then we decided to move in with my parents. We weren't anywhere near ready on buying a house or renting somewhere. And my parents were all about it. They were on board for it, mostly because they liked Matt. So yeah, we lived with our parents for a little bit. And then we moved forward. Now we're in 2018, and we're like, okay, now it's time to start planning our big wedding.
But with us living at her parents', definitely allowed us to save up a lot of money for this wedding.
We saved up so much money and spent so much money.
Spent way too much money on this wedding.
I had my family come from Ecuador and whatnot. So in August 3rd of 2018, we had our big, huge wedding, which is why sometimes you, like, guys, if you follow us on social medias, we have like 2 anniversary dates. It's November 5th, 2017, August 3rd, 2018. But we celebrate November 5th, 2017, because that's technically when we really got married. We won't go in too much into that story because that's a long story. Our wedding day is a whole nother story that we won't even touch on right now. But yeah, it was great. I mean, it was nice. We look back at it. Matt had a good time. But yeah, so we got married, and then afterwards, we went on our honeymoon, and we went to the Dominican Republic. But yeah, we did our honeymoon, and that was really nice. And then we came back, and it was kind of just like go time. Like, I bought my first car, and then I ended up getting a different job, and then we started looking into getting a house, looking at a bunch of different houses, and I came across this one. And I was just like, okay, well, this might work out. So we ended up getting the house. We ended up moving in December, right, like a week before Christmas. And so we were so happy. Now we're married. We bought our first house, and things were just great. And this is December of 2018. And then that's pretty much it. Then 2019. We had like different career changes. I ended up working at a credit union in Maryland.
Making a lot more money.
Yeah, so income's changed as well. So that was like another question. I'm a relationship banker at a credit union, and Matt has his own construction company. As far as career-wise goes, he's kind of where he wants to be, and then just go further from there. Me, not so much.
She just got her realtor's license.
Yeah, so I just got my realtor's license, so that's something I want to dive into.
We want to be able to buy houses and flip and do all that.
Yeah, Matt rebuilds them, and then I sell them. So that's kind of our future goals. Pretty much that sums up 2019. We just changed careers.
Didn't really do much 2019.
Yeah, nothing really changed. Let's fast forward to November of 2019. When I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we got married, we have our house, we have our jobs. Now came baby time. I definitely was kind of waiting. I didn't want to have kids quite yet. Matt wanted to have kids from like the first day we met. No, I'm just kidding. So in November, I went to the store and I got a pregnancy test, and I came back home, and I took the test and it came out positive, which I'm sure you guys all saw on the Finding Out I'm Pregnant video.
That brings us to Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas, where I'm sure you saw the Telling My Family We're Pregnant video. And that's where we told everybody Christmas Day.
So everyone's super excited for Layla to be here. Then we fast forward to 2020 and nothing's really changed.
Our story of the way stuff happened definitely isn't the usual. It definitely isn't the normal. It doesn't work for a lot of people, but it did work for us. And there's not a thing I would change or anything I regret with anything that has happened.
Yeah. And I think mainly that was just because of how like quickly and deep our relationship got in the beginning. And I think that was because mainly our past, we were able to,
it let us open up and be vulnerable to one another.
We were able to be upfront, and I think that's because we had learned so much of what love doesn't look like and what it should look like.
There wasn't any trust issues. Everything was just out and open on the table.
So we were able to really open up to each other. But yeah, so our relationship, our bond grew really strong, really deep, very quickly. Now we're going to answer some questions that we might have missed.
Tips on long distance relationships and first dance song.
So our first dance song was Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And as far as long distance relationship goes, we don't have any advice because we've never been in a long distance. Sorry.
Favorite things about each other then and now?
So back then, my favorite thing about Matt was how understanding and sensitive he was. So it was more on the emotional side. He was really like my comforter. I could cry in his chest and he wouldn't think 1 second about it. Like, why are you doing this?
We'd be watching a comedy and then like 2 seconds later she's crying.
Yeah, so Matt really just like helped me. So that was like back then, how super sensitive he was with me. And now kind of seeing him more in like the husband role, him being able to fix stuff around the house. Like he built our deck. Anything that ever breaks, he fixes. He like made our shiplap wall. So like my car breaks down, he's able to fix it. So I love that he's just so handy.
I guess back then, it'd probably be like how open we're able to be with each other.
Yeah.
And like communicate. It was just easy to talk to. And then now, probably you understanding my sense of humor.
Yeah, I'm more open to his jokes now, I guess. Now I laugh at everything he says.
Have you always known you wanted to get married?
So yeah, so like when you're not in a relationship, that's not something you think about at like our age, especially when we were only 20 years old. I was still like having fun, going out with my friends. I never really thought about getting married anytime soon or having kids. But when we did start dating, yes, we knew from like the beginning. Yeah. Like we said before, Matt said that he was going to marry me one day, and he was being serious. So.
What did your parents think? We already did that, didn't we? Our parents liked each other.
Oh yeah, our parents loved us. Like my parents loved him. His parents loved me. What's the thing you guys argue about the most, and how do you overcome those arguments? Matt and I really don't argue. We don't have we've never had like a huge crazy argument. We have little arguments here and there, just like petty, like silly stuff.
But how we get over them is I have to talk because she shuts down.
Yeah.
It's like just unplugged.
So that like when things do happen or I get upset over stuff, I am more closed in. I tend to just kind of shut down and want to not talk to anybody. Matt more so is very communicative, and he wants to talk through stuff and get over stuff, the healthy way of handling arguments. So he'll kind of approach me and just be like, hey, let's talk. And that's when I'll open up and we'll kind of just get through things. So we work well with each other when it comes to overcoming arguments and stuff.
Who made the first move? So who kissed who first?
Matt kissed me first.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Love at first sight, yes. Definitely love at first sight. We never had to take a break in our relationship.
Yeah, we've never taken any breaks.
How many kids do you want? 2.
Yeah, we want 2.
2 so they can have a little sibling.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all the questions. All the other questions were kind of repetitive, or we answered them in our story. So that concludes our love story. We hope that you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I'm glad that we were able to make this just so you guys get to know a little bit more about us and where we came from and
how our love evolved.
Yeah,
and blossomed into this.
Right. Where we started, where we are today, and how everything kind of just came about. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you guys next time.
Should we kiss?
No.